Okay, so welcome everyone to another session of our monthly powwow. And today we're very privileged to have two very dynamic guys who have a lot of things to teach us about and share with us. And the topic today is diversifying your business successfully. You know, in these challenging times, it's very important that we have a strong, solid, and diversified business so that, as the saying goes, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Or in my book, I call it don't stand on one leg. Yeah. So the more legs you have in your business, the better. So we have two gentlemen. One has diversified his business across different product sectors, across different geographies and markets. Another guy who has diversified into other businesses, multiple businesses. So please help me welcome, first of all, Chris Heng and also C. Tan. Yay! All right.
Thank you, Peter.
Yes, thanks, Peter.
Okay, so before we start, maybe Chris, you could tell us a bit about your background, how you got started in this business, and what business you are in. I know you're in manufacturing.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Peter. First of all, Peter, I'm still scratching my head today why you picked me. Because that's a lot more qualified people.
You're qualified by results, you know.
Okay, a little bit of my background. So as what I shared with you earlier, success comes from a lot of failures. So I would rather share the failures than the success.
Wow.
So my background is actually my dad was a bankrupt. So growing up was not from a good, fantastic environment. So that's 30 over years ago. I have to go to the factory to help during the school holidays, all this. That's where I started. And 20 over years ago, I asked for school fees to go to US and I had to earn the rest. Okay, I graduated mechanical engineer. I don't even have money to come home. I can't even buy the airplane ticket, so I have to work there for 1 year.
Wow.
I remember I sent out easily 500 resumes. Then only I got a job. So I wasn't that smart either if I want to compare with the rest. And when I came back, helped my dad to grow this business from about 20 packs to about 80 packs. And unfortunately, he diagnosed with Parkinson and I have to carry on for the past 10 years. Growing it from 80 to 130. Okay, today I would say we are the market leader in motorbike chassis and components manufacturing in Malaysia, top 3. And that's where we secure the ecosystem control in Malaysia. And in the process, yes, there's a lot of diversification, both the company and also myself. Across industries such as trading, consultancy, training, property development, and I even went as far as US and Brazil. I don't even understand why did I do that now. Seriously. So that's a bit of my background.
Okay, all right. We'll come back to you in a while, Chris. Thanks for that. C, why don't you tell us about yourself and how you got started in your many businesses?
Yeah, hi everyone, and so I just want to qualify myself. I'm here not here to teach. I'm not a lecturer. I'm here to share my personal my journey, my business journey. I began my career with Hong Leong Group, OL Berhad. Then year 2000, I started my company. That's 21 years ago. I graduated in UK as a mechanical engineer, like Chris Heng. So both of us and some similarity. Today, I think Peter like to pick a mechanical engineer. Mechanical engineer is a very process and minded.
Okay.
So 21 years ago, I started my company construction, growing from one-man show. So to today, and then I started the other company as well, a trading company in Malaysia, manufacturing of water filtration product, Then I set up a company 17 years ago in Thailand, and then subsequently ventures to Hong Kong. We started a company in Hong Kong. Then the latest, we acquired a farm called J. Robert Farm. Later, I will tell you more story. Yeah. So yeah. So I'm on and off, and for 21 years, I started probably more than 17 companies. Yeah, before. So I'm here like Chris Heng, a bit of a sharing. What is the pitfall? The danger zone when you diversify. So I believe I can share a bit of experience. Not here to teach, but my personal journey. So what is do and don'ts? Something for you to cautious. Yeah. So you don't learn from your other experience is cheapest way lah.
Yes, yes. Excellent. Okay. So we're going to do that in the next 20-30 minutes or so, or longer. So maybe let's start with Chris, no? So Chris, maybe you can tell us at what point you started to feel the need to diversify your business, and how did you go about doing that?
Okay, when we realized there's a need to diversify is one customer becomes so huge. They keep giving you new sales order until it becomes so big that you realize you need to find other customers to balance it out. So that is the trigger point, and we started to go into we started with Hong Leong Yamaha motor.
Okay,
so
great.
Yeah, so same as brother C Tan Hong Leong Group. So we know how bad is it. So
how did the Hong Leong deal come about? How did you manage to get the Hong Leong business?
Okay, my dad was one of the pioneers in industrialization in Malaysia. So at that time, the graduates from UM, not many engineers. My dad is one of them. That's why you need the how to say, the best people in the country. There's not many at that time. So these are the cream of the crops, you would say. So that's the chance. But today I would say there's no chance. That's how the Hong Leong business came about. Yeah, when that business grow, then we are forced to look for automotive like APM, Kayaba. We are diversifying into automotive car industry, right? As we do that, we managed to bring the percentage down, but guess what? Yamaha keep piling even more. So it bring the percentage up again. So we are forced to keep on looking for alternative into construction industry, electrical, electronics. And finally, we are forced to go overseas because there's not much we can diversify in Malaysia. So that is the point where I'm flying quite a lot to overseas at that point of time. So yeah, it was triggered by you need to grow at least 15% or 10% every year. And when you start to search for where are the clients, you realize that there's becoming less and less you can look for. Okay, that's when we have to keep moving, I would say.
Yeah, okay, great. So you came from necessity, not wanting to be vulnerable to one big, huge customer. Okay, great, very good. See, what about you? Was it just a 7-year itch, or you felt that your business was too boring for you, or what was it about? When did you feel the need to diversify, and how did you go about it?
Yeah. Not like marriage, 7 years each. So yeah, I constantly, even until today, I'm constantly thinking, and probably my mindset a bit like how to manage forward thinking, how to manage your crisis management. Like for example, I'm started a construction business. Business growing every year. We are growing more than at the time 20 to 25%. Every year we are growing. My trading business is growing, but that's the point, and we think about it. You want to build a constant stream of income, because in the construction industry, I think KY is from an architect. You understand the construction industry. You secure a project, yeah, it can last you for 3 to 4 years, or sometimes 2 years. You have a factory job, maybe 1.5 years, depend on speed. So for architect, probably they have to longer, maybe 4 or 5 years. The planning start and then until the end. So yeah, sometimes you keep on repeating this kind of process and you finish. You know this. That's the whole cycle. You know? When you secure a job, wow, you're so happy. Another job. But after the job, you execute it, then finish it. Then you have to find a new job, and the process keep on repeating, and you feel tired. Then, so before I feel tired, I already foreseen and I foreseen this is not the long-term solution, because I like to, because I work from Hong Leong group, and this is a culture. We always encourage you to work yourself out a job. That means you fire yourself, and your staff and your business without you can continue. And this is the best business model. So I have to continue. I know my contract industry is unable. I need to involve, and I can train up my staff, and but the level with developer, personal touch, this something I cannot pass on. Very, very hard. So the processes and those like others and execution of job, and no problem. My GM, my director, they can handle. So always I come to this point, I always think, what is the next? What is a better business? Better business model. So how I started the 17 companies, because I keep on trying. And this been going on for years. Okay, yeah.
Okay. So obviously you're a person with a lot of drive, huh? And I like that motto, work yourself out of a business, which means that your business has to be process driven, and with very good systems, so that it can run by itself without you. And then that's really a real business, right? Where you don't have to be there full time, and then you have the time and the resource to look at other things and other projects. And was it 17 businesses you started? Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing, no? So I guess there would have been some that became very successful and some that maybe didn't work out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I closed more company than maintain it.
Okay. All right. So since we're on the topic, what were top 2 or 3 lessons that you learned from those experiences?
You want to ask Chris first or myself first?
Okay, maybe we'll switch to Chris.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let me resume. Okay. So Chris, as you went about in diversifying and looking for new business to balance off the big customer that you had, what were some key lessons, and what opportunities did you take, and what were some lessons that you learned along the way? Maybe you could share that.
Okay, I think as we move along, the challenges is too much already. Too much challenges because you're going into something that you doesn't know, so you have to find a lot of answers, and then no one is going to teach you anything.
Yeah.
So those are the challenges that has to be overcome. If you ask me about the mistake, I would say not specializing is a mistake, because in the beginning it was like, yeah, everything also sapu all. It's like everything sapu all. Then in the end, you also let go. Why? Because it's not in line with your future. So I would say specialization is very important, aligning to the future where you want to hit, so that don't waste so much time on getting customers in and then let go again, because it is not aligned. Okay, I find that is a mistake. Taking every single business is not correct. It has to fit the company vision.
So being selective about the customers, right? Having a set of maybe 3, 4, 5 criteria of who would make the best customer, and making sure you don't compromise on those.
I would say keep adding value
Uh-huh.
to the business until there's not much competitor.
Okay.
Like if let's say for mine it's like metal stamping, then I look around, there's like probably like few hundred competitors. And then when you add in spot welding and you add in pipe bending, then you look around again, you say, wow, left 100 only. And you add in robotic weldings, you add in assembly welding, then you look around again. Now left 20 only. and then when you go specialize into just motorbike, you leave the car out of the picture. Oh, now you're top 3. So when there's a top 3 in, I always believe if you cannot win in your own country, don't go outside. You don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
So when top 3 already, then yes, yeah, we can go overseas already. We are ready to compete with overseas. So that specialization is very important instead of ending up with 200 customers and nowhere. There's nowhere.
Yeah. Okay. So you're talking about moving up the value chain, going up higher and higher in the value chain so that there are fewer and fewer competitors, and then you stand out and you become outstanding.
Yes.
So how long was that process? And when did you feel that, okay, I got to go beyond this country, beyond the boundaries of this market?
When we are ready to go overseas, and is when we become top 3 already.
Okay.
Then only.
So that process was what, 10 years or something?
I would say the company took 30 years.
Okay. All right. So a lot of peaks and troughs and lessons and challenges along the way, right? Which you overcame step by step. But the wonderful thing about hindsight is you see all this in perspective, and then you see the landscape that you've gone through, and now you're driven more by vision and where you want to go and the mission of your business. Is that right?
And I think one big corporation I have to thank for this is Hong Leong Group, because I was following the right leader. They taught me a lot of things.
Okay.
Just like what Brother C mentioned, even we are just a supplier, but the way they treat us, the way they show us, they help us to look very far ahead. These are the things I'm thankful about.
Okay. All right. So it was a very good strategic relationship. So not only they didn't make you vulnerable by being their biggest customer, but they taught you some things as well, which was very valuable, right? Because they do things in a very long-term perspective.
Oh, they keep cutting your cost until you have to stretch your head to find out how to move forward.
Okay. Well, that's very interesting. All right. Okay. So let's go back to C. So C, maybe you can tell us, what were some of the challenges and pitfalls you encountered, in your journey of diversification?
Yeah, I would no time to share all the stories. I just pick probably just one.
Okay.
So that's about, I think about 9 years ago. Yeah, 9 years ago. So we started the restaurant business. We started one French restaurant, 6 Chinese restaurant, and 1 central kitchen, and 1 big fish farm. So the fish farm is 60 acres, aquaculture. So the concept is from aquaculture, fish farm, we directly supply to all the restaurants, and we want to build a chain outlet, like probably to like KFC kind of stars. And so this is a pitfall. Yeah, took us about 2 years to plan. We consultant, all the directors, and planned it. We thought it's wow, very well. Like almost 90%, we are well prepared. We put aside our money and just head on our new diversification. So this one, you look back and it's a big mistake. That's why I always start one of the key points today. I can share with you guys, and you want to start diversify your business, always start small. Yeah, we pump it a lot of cash, all hard cash, because I want to start a business, we bought the 60 acres land, start the fish farm 60 acres, farm it millions of dollars, and start the 6 restaurants together and one central kitchens. You know, we managed about a few hundred workers at a time, just beyond my original workers and my construction, although a few hundred workers. Additional in short period of times, and like 6 months, we add another few hundred workers. I tell you, every day I only manage to sit 3 to 4 hours at a time. It's the biggest challenge my life at the time, because about 11 years ago, I have 10 years ago, I got a newborn baby at the time. I just have a few months old baby. Then with my church, I started a new church with my pastor. And I started such a big business. Oh, it's beyond my capability, frankly speaking. Yeah, my physically, my mentally, I still very strong, but my physically, I flat and I don't have strength. Yeah, so just manage all these businesses and at one time is beyond me. Yeah, so then business initially doing very well, but a lot of things and happens, and eventually, cut the story short, and we close all this restaurant business. Yeah.
So how long was that venture, C?
2.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there a point where it was profitable, or was it
initially, yes, it's profitable, so but eventually we have encounter the chef and a lot of problems, because there's so many restaurants we cannot monitor. The chef corruption, they partner with supplier and mark up 10%. You know, our fish is from our farm, so every month every time we send, let's say 500 piece of fish, but every month stock take, one restaurant, they will we went missing at least 500 to 600 fish. So can you imagine all fish are gone missing? Then I asked the chef and asked the chef to say, hey, where is this stock take and not tally? Oh, I say, I don't know. You ask the foreign workers.
Yeah.
All kind of things. So
yeah. So in running restaurants, one of the areas you need to prevent is block leakages from the kitchen, no?
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is where there's a lot of hanky-panky that can happen.
Yeah.
Yep. So what were the top 2 or 3 lessons from this venture that didn't go well?
Yeah, the biggest lesson I learned, always start small, don't start big. Yeah. So my other venture, why I can successful, because I allowed myself go through a learning curve. So the business plan, yeah, is a business plan. It's still a theory until you step into uncharted water, and this is a real war. Sometimes real life and theory is quite a bit different.
Yeah.
So you allow your time and time to learn, to adjust yourself, and allow your staff as well to go through all the learning curve together with you.
Yes.
This is very, very important.
Yeah. Especially
never
when
too
you
aggressive.
Yeah, especially when you are totally going into a totally different industry altogether.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And I guess it's good to also take stock of our own personal strengths and our own personal areas for growth, no? So sometimes we tend to be very spontaneous and maybe too and because of that, our enthusiasm, we're driven by enthusiasm, and sometimes that drives us to a lack of being prudent, right? So we take decisions maybe they're not so prudent. Okay, very good. But the great thing is you were able to survive and come through that and still carry on, no?
Yes, that's why the business model is very important, and we set the money aside. So we set this money aside as we discuss among all directors, and okay, we set this X amount of money aside to start the new business. Okay, this is the worst scenario. We burn all the money. True enough, we burn all. We lost many millions ringgit lah. Just we put aside, and it's a very worst come true. Not the best come true, worst scenario. But put joke aside, at least you still have a business model. That means you budgeted how much money you want to spend. You won't go to the parents' company.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Okay, I'm gonna change gears a bit and shift to a different topic and bring us back to the now, no? So Chris, I'm gonna ask you, what were some of the maybe top 2 or 3 challenges that you've had to go through during the last 18 months of this fantastic pandemic? Totally, unforeseen situation, very challenging for most people. So what were some challenges and how are you going through it, Chris?
Okay, if I'm talking about the Malaysian business only lah. I would say when we are in control of the whole ecosystem, it cannot be too wrong. It won't go too far out already. So with the pandemic also is pretty much in control. You just imagine our sales depends on the population growth. Yeah, if the population is there, it's confirmed it's there. So this kind of the thing we are looking at. So we already have a very accurate projection for the next 5 years. We already have that. So for us in a market leader position, it's not hard to control in this sense. Okay, so I would say the first pandemic caught us, but to us it's like if there's anything happen to us, the other 95% of the companies in Malaysia already cannot make it. Right? So, but because of this lesson, after the March last year, when we go back to work, we immediately work on all the bank facilities, refinancing all with the better rates, everything, and get all the cash ready. We even have the lower loans, everything. Yeah, we don't need it, but just prepare. So when this time when it comes around, actually we can last very long because everything is there, all the facilities.
Okay.
And we sometimes we even use it to pay up the loans that is higher interest rate, and it already makes sense. So I would say that the financial part of forecast and planning is, in a very long run, is very important. Like even now, people is asking, you're still paying your staff? Yeah, I'm paying my staff. Full salary, full, yes. How are you going to survive? Very simple. If I'm going to give them 2 months bonus, I just give them upfront now lah. When it comes to bonus time, I don't give so much bonus lah. That's all. But it balance back the whole year accounts. So this is I find with this kind of planning, actually it will not have much effect on the whole thing.
Okay. So that's a very corporate way of looking at things, Chris. And if I can summarize what you're saying is the ecosystem has already been developed, so you have a very steady and stable business. On top of that, you took advantage during the first lockdown last year when the pandemic first hit to restructure all your loans, taking advantage of low rates and all that, and building up a cash pile which you didn't need, but which you have access to now to reduce some of the higher cost loans and to finance any eventuality that you may need. Number one. Number two, you were able to not take any salary cuts for any of your staff, keeping them intact because yours is quite a high skill business. And with 100 over staff, you're able to keep them and maintain the level of pay and all that without any salary cuts. So that's quite amazing, no? Okay. Can you maybe shed some light on this ecosystem you talk about?
Okay. For example, it's like if we know the population is growing by 2%, 3%, and the age group that's going to buy motorbike is 15 to 25, you can pretty much calculate what's the consumption over the next 5 years based on the demographics.
I see. Okay,
right?
but wouldn't the drop, wouldn't the slowdown in the economy affect the purchasing power of this group of people? Wouldn't that
Yeah.
slow down?
Okay, so what we are looking at is, yeah, the guys that cannot buy might end up have to take bus, but the guys who's buying cars will end up buying motorbikes.
Ah,
So it's
okay.
still, to us, this is still a necessity. It's called transport. 衣食
Okay.
住行. Transport is a necessity in life.
Okay.
It's either you choose which mode only.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Got it.
And
Fantastic.
when we decide to pay the workers, is as simple as, if we can afford, we don't pay, then who is going to consume in the country? Everyone will die together. So if we can afford, we have to sustain the economy. This
Yeah.
is what we feel. Yeah.
Yes. That's a very good how shall I say, very benevolent way to approach business, no? So unlike some business owners I know or that I've seen, no, where they take the opportunity to actually cut, and they're actually taking the opportunity, you know, whereas you're taking a more holistic and a more humanistic approach to things, huh? Okay, very good. Thanks. Moving to CE. CE, maybe you can share with us your top 1 or 2 challenges and how did you overcome them during this pandemic crisis?
Yeah, so yeah, I might thank as like Chris say, Hong Leong Group. So I was with Hong Leong Group at the time. I gone through a 97 together with Hong Leong Group. At the time, my COO. So they taught me a very good lessons. And so subsequently, we managed to overcome many challenges in environment, business environment. So 97 is quite bad at the time. So yeah, just like you mentioned, one of key, your cash flow is number one important. Yeah, it's not your profit is important, but cash flow even more important, because your cash flow is like the blood inside inside your body. Without blood, you will die. You don't need to get cancer, whatever. Without blood, simply you will gone. Yeah. So at the time, and my before 97, 95, 96, and it was I believe all quite a number of very senior person here. People are talking about expansion because business is so good. At the time, our factory is like, it cannot cope. And those days, you cannot cook until, let's say, somebody asks us to cook below 500,000. We tell them, sorry, I don't have time to cook for you. the job is too small for us. Until this kind of extent, you know. And we are so busy, and I work every day until sometimes 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning. 8 a.m. go punch my punch card, and it's kind of routine at the time. Very business. At the time, my COO and make the OL Berhad make a very good decision. We are all of us are pushing because we are still young, just the department manager. So we are pushing. Hey, we need to expand. We cannot, because we need more manpower. Our factory needs to do expansion. We cannot cope with our delivery. My COO took one of a subcontractor. Say, okay, you have a factory, a fabrication factory. We set up everything for you. We provide tools for you. You give us training. You become an outsource. Another few lines. We outsource everything for you. Wow, the subcontractor is so happy. This is like windfall. At the time is 95. And people don't understand, hey, why you want to, the Chinese say, you have an opportunity to earn all. You earn all. Why you have to pass it on to other person? So we don't understand. But 97, it came. That means the outsourcing part, and we just stopped. Our OL group is still very intact. Of course, we lost a bit of exchange at the time because of US dollars and ringgit Malaysia. At the time, we still very intact. So from this real life experience, I learned, and so majority of my companies, we keep our earning, we keep in the company. We don't like shareholder dividends, and we declare everything until no saving. So cash flow is number one, very important. And the second things I can share is that you must quickly learn. Continued learning is one thing, but have to learn fast enough. Like for example, for the last 18 months, we took over J. Robert Farm. This farm, the basic business is a B2B business. We need to very respond. It took us about a couple of months. We transformed to online business, become B2C. We don't have a kind of know-how. We engage a consultant and quickly set up our B2C platform. Yeah, so you must able to do that. And these few things is very, very important. So and the another point I can share is that continue to network. Networking is very important. Sometimes all the ideas help is come from a networking group. Yeah, that's a saying. I think it's very famous. Your network is your net worth. Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to take too much time of. Now it's already 4:50. Yeah. Peter, pass back to you.
Okay, thanks for that insight. Chris, any last words of advice to our audience in terms of diversifying and being successful at diversifying in business?
Okay, I think talk about the failures lah. The failures is my failures is because I go out of my specialization. That's my failure. I go into other businesses like property development, go to US, go to Brazil. That's my failures. So what I learned from all this is all the time is ask why you should win, not thinking that you should win all the time. But when you win, you got the project. Why should you win? How come? How come you should win? If you cannot find a reason you should win, something is wrong. Something is very wrong with it. If you cannot find a reason you should win. So from all these lessons, I pretty much shrink down all my areas of investment to number one is I make sure this is the industry I have the most years of experience compared to anyone else. That's why my chances to win very, very high. Okay. Second criteria is I must love that thing. If I don't love the industry, I don't love that business, just sell it off. Don't waste time, even if it's making money. Because eventually it will die. I will say eventually it will die because you don't love it, you don't work on it.
Yeah, you don't give it the due attention.
Yes, even if it's making money, it will also become losing money. Put it that way. So I stick to this rule today. More than that, the diversification, I always hire the best of the best to do it and pay them. In other words, it's like you are just paying to the fund managers to do the job. If you think you need to diversify to all over the world or all across whatever industry also, I just hire the best fund managers, that's all. Don't even go in and try to do it yourself.
Yeah, great advice, Chris. So the last point is something like what I was told about Lim Go Tong, So we know Lim Go Tong doesn't have anything near a degree, but his great ability was to source good people, find good people, pay them very well to run his business. Yeah. So I think that's a bit of your philosophy. And just want to go back to the point about, asking the question of why you should win. Can I say that's kind of like making sure you have a strong value proposition?
Okay. Why I arrive on this is sometimes we go into the deal thinking we are so good and so smart. That's the problem. The ego comes in. Like when I went to Brazil and US, that's the problem because the ego comes in and you think you're so smart. But if you ask from another angle is, why should you win? Then you start to be able to come up with things. Hey, is there no such person in that country that can do this? Is there no such smart person in that country? Then you realize, yeah, something is wrong if I win. This is the meaning.
Okay, all right. So it's more than just looking at value proposition. It's looking at, are you biting off more than you can chew and making assumptions which are totally emotionally driven rather than factual, right?
Yes.
Okay, very good, excellent. And actually, sometimes we are our own worst enemy, because we don't manage our emotions very well, and that can lead to either acting without prudence or being brash or rash or whatever. So very good. Thanks for that. Any last words from C before we wrap it up?
Yeah, just this is a summary. What I've before every time I want to start a new company, this is the whole process. I will go through it, and I think the first point is you need to identify a need. The need is not your need. The customer needs, and this business, is it sustainable? It's very important. You can engage a consultant to do a survey, business survey. So you have to identify a need first. And draft a business model is very important. You don't know how to draft it, talk to Peter. he's an expert, and do a big promotion for you. And very important, and sometimes ourselves is our own enemy. Like Chris says, sometimes you think you are so smart, and you need to have a mentor. Sometimes we think we want to be someone mentor, but we need to ourselves need to engage a mentor to continue to coach us. It's very important. Yeah, it's a lifelong continued learning process. So even you have gone through, you're one of the best of your industry, something for you to learn as well. So my mentor, who is my mentor, all the Hong Leong director is still keep in touch with me. They are all in 70 something. Another one is my APEC and presidents. Those is a US company, because the time is my company is a US joint venture. One of my GM, he went there, become a president for APEC business. Yeah, so he still continues my mentor. So another one is my own brother. Yeah, he's 66 years old. He's still holding a high position in Sembawang. He's the second man of Sembawang. So no, the whole congregation, they have all type of business. Many type of business as well.
Sembawang Corp, the holding company.
Sembcorp, yeah. They have a power plant, and my brother is the one to diversify their business to a power plant, to new water, recycle water.
Yes.
This is all my brother's project. So I talked to him, and after that, I draft a business plan, and I always talk to this mentor. So hey, this business, they'll throw you all kind of questions, and so you have to defend yourself, your own business model. So from this process, and you fine tune. Sometimes before even take off, and you check it away, because this business model not good enough. So there's you need to test your business model. Then also you need to have a thing before you launch any product, your business, and you need to think of market strategy. So again, you don't know how to do it, and engage someone. It's very good in marketing strategies, and then you can plan together. Then again, just like I shared before, start small, very important. Don't show it, gear up to a full gear. Engage the first gear first, then slowly ramp it up. very important. Then eventually you scale up, and the last thing I must emphasize again: cash flow. Very important. Without planning of cash flow, you cannot go very far. Yeah. Okay, pass back to Peter.
All right. So that was great sharing, from both of you gentlemen. I'd like to really express my thanks to both of you. Been a great, I think it come up to about 40 minutes in our session. A lot of nuggets, a lot of good learnings, and I hope the audience will take this into their business and adapt from it, learn from it, and apply all the principles that you guys have shared. So thank you very much. And before we open up for Q&A,